Hello awesome YouTubers, Juggernaut G here with another video, and it has been over a year since the very first episode of this, and you're probably wondering where the sequel was, but it is my How to Become a Racing Driver series. And well, I thought I'd wait till I learned, progressed a bit more on my own routes before I began to do another part. And this part is the steps, not the first steps, but the steps, the main focus steps, if you get what I mean, the big goals. And well, we finished off obviously where you'd have got into a karting club. Now if you haven't seen the previous video, there is will be a link in the description, and it will be featured at the end of the video. And pretty much I did something called described of where to get cheap gear and where to get into the local karting club. Now once you've practiced enough in your own go-kart, I do recommend practicing in your own go-kart and your own track day just to get used to how it handles before you ever race a machine. But once you're ready to race at club level. And club level isn't serious, it's more casual, it's still hard though, and fitness isn't really big either. And what you want to do there is be learning your racecraft. Now when it comes to wet races, here in the UK, you've got to be used to wet driving on the wet, even on slicks. Even, for example, some arrive and drive, it's slick only, so you need to learn that racecraft. And anything like that, if you're struggling, always try go on a day when it rains on your own to a track. But you've done club racing and you want to move on. Well, that's when you start thinking about doing proper championships for your go-kart and looking at national level championships. And these national level championships can vary. You'll have to do some research. So for example in the UK it's Super 1, that houses a lot of 2 strokes, but not 4 strokes, but there is national 4-stroke karting championships. So you have to look around, and the hardest part is looking around and finding them. And the easiest way is, all I can say is network. Network is the most important thing in motorsport. In fact, it's important in most industries, but in motorsport you have to network to find everything. You just Google karting championships, things won't come up. For me, when I first did it, the school karting championship came up, and I did it. I did do the championship, but that was it. There wasn't any other championships, you know, to start my own go-kart or anything. So you've got to network. Now you're asking, well, how do I network? Well, first of all, you need to be getting yourself down to trade shows, places of interest, tracks. When I mean by tracks, I don't mean by an IndyCar Formula 1 weekend. If you've got a paddock pass, yeah, then it'll work, but if you've got that money. But if not, you can go to just a general karting weekend, find out. If you know where local tracks are, ring them up, ask them when the regular meetings are, and go to that first meeting, get to talk to people about that championship and learn about the championship, because you don't want to be advancing and moving up into a category you don't know nothing about, and you don't know anything about the logistical finance, because racing is very expensive in terms of travelling, hotels, food, that all adds up. So that's what you need to do. So, but trade shows are really good. But I was very lucky recently to go to Autosport this year, but I went on trade day, so it's not as busy. So that gave a big advantage. But if you can, you go in and talk to people. But the straight up tip is, don't just straight away and go up and go this. Just start having a normal conversation, related, not like how's the weather, and then progress to things like that. But most of the times you can be quite forward if you're asking about advice for championships, because that's normally they're really helpful and open to helping you out start. Now once you've done that, you need to be practicing, and this is when fitness starts to become a thing. If you really want to have advantage, fitness. I'm not saying you can't be quick if you're overweight. You can. There is people that are 10 times over the limit in terms of kilograms, and they're still winning races against people who are 10 kilos lighter than them. But it gives you that edge. doesn't it prevents you from worrying about being too weak for the race, and you're physically prepared. And in doing so, in endurance races, you can be at peak performance for longer. So I personally recommend looking up specific exercises, because motorsport is very specific. We need muscular endurance, stability, and a good just in overall stamina as well. So that's the key advantage. But what you also need to be doing once you're at club level or national levels is you need to be careful when to move up, because you want to be making mistakes at a younger age. See, I'm not in cars yet, and I'm very you kind of like, oh, I really want to progress, but I know I've still got a lot to learn before it's best to make that, because when you go to cars, as I have helped out at events, working for teams, the price skyrockets, and if you make a mistake, that price for that mistake skyrockets. So you want to be making mistakes when it's cheaper, and mentally cheaper as well, with the effects it has on you and how people look up to you as a driver. So you need to be doing that. And once you've happy and done a national level scene and you feel like you're ready, now we've got to remember, you don't need a championship to feel like you're ready. But I'm not saying you need to be moving up when you're miles back down the grid. When you're comfortably contending for wins on a regular basis, winning pole positions, and generally just being overall competitive, that's when you know you're getting close to your peak at that area. Who knows, you may be learning other things in terms of other areas of that sport, but most of the times that's the case. And now we're thinking, right, let's move on to cars. Now, I myself don't know a lot, but I've found various pathways. There's trade shows do help. Certain trade shows like Autosport, they have an area of motorsport and how to get into it. For example, you can get in, if you want touring cars, get in saloon cars like Ford Fiestas, and you can buy your own, and buy and even convert your own. So that comes to about £10,000, I think they were recommending for the mini club challenge to have a car. And you do things like that. You buy them sort of cars, and then if you're into open wheel racing, there's things like Formula V, Formula Jedi, Formula Ford, things like that, and that do increase in price, but areas you then need to be thinking of looking in and how you can either hopefully get a drive or save up and buy your own car. Personally, I think the most cost-effective ways is the saloon cars, because they're just general road legal cars converted rather than a specific racing machine. But that's what you'll be looking for, and look for what suits you as well for finance, because doing other ones may not be financially viable, but that's what you need to be looking for. And then the next thing after that is the Mazda to Indy. I was talking to them, and their basic advice was, in the UK you need to be winning a low formula like Formula Ford. It doesn't even have to be a championship, it can be a one-off event like a winter festival, and you don't even have to really win it, you just have to be really good, and they will contact you and discuss asking for a knockout, and that way you can slowly build your way up. I'm not going into too much detail about Mazda Road to Indy, just Google it and look into it. It's basically a knockout thing where if you do so well in one series, they'll give you qualifiers against other people, and then they'll give you that, then they'll fully fund you for the next season, stepping up all the way up to Indy Lights. But that's a very long way ahead. But now you've found your series and looked into what motorsport series you wanted to do car racing, you need to then revamp your gear, get new gear, because the gears just isn't compatible anymore. Karting things are not reliable because they're not fireproof, and you need HANS devices. So this is just some of the small things you need to think about when moving on and up from national level karts and then going into cars. You just need to think about things like that. But again, the most important thing, as I've learned from even less videos and numerous less people, is network. You need to meet people, you need to be in them scenes, you need to talk to people, because people in the industry know what's best, they know what to do, rather than trying to help us Lagudo. Another channel I would recommend sometimes that gives a little bit of good advice as well is Safe is Fast. It's a brilliant site, or YouTube channel. I recommend that as well. But I hope you find this helpful, and who knows when I'll do the next video, because it's quite hard to come up with new things like that, but I'll try come up with different ideas that relate to this topic if you'd like. And if you did enjoy it, please give a like, comment and subscribe hopefully, and I will see you around.
Good job, you did